Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us for the Spotlight on Tomah. I'm Chris Hansen, your host. With me today is Jennifer Cooter. She's the Associate Director for the La Crosse Area Development Corporation, locally known as LADCO. She's here to talk to us today about the high-speed rail that is rumored that it could possibly happen, or maybe it won't, but we're going to go on that the possibility is still there. Jenny, thank you very much for joining us today, and we appreciate you being here. Jenny and Director Jim Hill from LADCO, they've recently been involved with trying to talk to La Crosse, educate La Crosse on what high-speed rail is and the economic impact it could have to our region. On a regular basis, they go out, they talk to community leaders on the current issues about this project. Obviously, after the recent election, a lot of this has been thrown up in the air. And they discuss strategy, how to maximize the full potential of high-speed rail if it does finally come to fruition. So, Jenny, tell us the basic idea behind the high-speed rail concept.
Sure. Well, Chris, we head up what's called the Empire Builder High-Speed Rail Coalition. It's really kind of the local advocacy effort for bringing high-speed rail through the La Crosse area, actually on what's the existing Empire Builder route that serves basically between Chicago and the Twin Cities would be the potential high-speed rail route. What the Midwest Regional Rail Initiative that was actually adopted by several states actually back in the 90s called for was 6 trains per day traveling between Chicago and the Twin Cities in each direction at speeds of up to 110 miles an hour. We see this as really a great way to grow our transportation mix. You're not slicing the pie, but actually growing the pie. We see it as a huge economic development effort that will only grow our areas.
Sure. And what people in Tomah would probably know, and then locally, is Amtrak runs the current Empire Builder route. So the Amtrak trains come through. Now, how many trains are currently going through right now?
Sure. There's actually one train that travels in each direction each day. So the train leaves La Crosse traveling to the east at about 11 o'clock in the morning, comes back through at about 7 p.m. So right now it's actually impossible, or pretty much impossible, to travel either to Milwaukee or Chicago or even to the Twin Cities and back without an overnight stay. And we really see that frequency, actually adding an additional train, even if it would be at conventional speeds instead of the higher speed, would really be a huge asset. The business people in La Crosse or in Tomah, anywhere along the corridor, could actually travel to their business meetings in the Twin Cities, Madison, Milwaukee, and then actually be able to return home in a single day.
Sure.
Instead of having to take that car trip, and the 3 hours in the train is productive time. You can have your laptop, your cell phone, and be getting things done instead of just being behind the wheel.
And I've been hearing that actually that the Amtrak is now you can have high-speed internet access on the Wi-Fi or whatever, wireless, on the trains now.
Yep, they're working on that, definitely.
Excellent. Okay. If the high-speed rail does happen, how would that impact the current Empire Builder, or would it not?
In our conversations with Amtrak has said that we will continue service on the Empire Builder route. Empire Builder actually goes from Chicago all the way out to Seattle and Portland, Oregon. So that will continue to be the one train each direction each day. Right now we're in the midst of a study process that's being conducted by Minnesota and Wisconsin Departments of Transportation together on which route will be actually the most effective route for high-speed rail between Milwaukee and the Twin Cities. We're fairly confident that the existing Empire Builder route will come out on top. The Empire Builder is one of Amtrak's most successful routes currently, and any good business model builds on success. Sure. So that we think that will be bode well for us.
Now there are two proposed routes. There's the current route, which is the Empire Builder route, comes through Tomah, through La Crosse, across the river, and then up toward the Twin Cities.
Correct.
But the second proposed route is another optional route that actually completely bypasses Tomah and La Crosse and veers north at Camp Douglas and goes straight toward Black River, Eau Claire, that region. So it would completely bypass our region. So obviously, if it does happen, we would hope for the first route, the Empire Builder route, to come through Tomah and La Crosse. If this does happen, if the high-speed rail does happen, what kind of impact do you see on a city like Tomah?
We see that this is going to be huge in economic impact. It's going to allow businesses additional opportunities for places to locate. Again, if they're connected to maybe a larger office in a larger city, they could theoretically consider locations like Tomah, like La Crosse, and still be very easily connected to their larger offices in the Twin Cities or Milwaukee, Madison, and be able to travel there and back in a single day. So we see that this is really an opportunity to grow the pie. Tourism is huge. We know that the huge assets in tourism that Monroe County has with the cranberries and the bike trails, all those sorts of things. So that'll be a huge of being able to attract people, and just riding the train in general is a huge attraction. So I think it'll draw people to the area.
The tourism is an excellent point, because at our office, the Chamber and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we look at where do people come from to visit Tomah. They come from Milwaukee, they come from the Twin Cities, they come from Chicago, and they want to get out of the hustle and bustle of the large community and come out and see the cranberries, like you said. How are cranberries grown? And Amish. The Amish community is a huge draw for our area, and that's one of the things we're forecasting. If this does come together, we're going to see more people actually taking the train, whether it's the Empire Builder because we have a new developed area in our downtown, or it's the high-speed rail. And the nice thing about the high-speed rail is they can get from Chicago or Twin Cities to Tomah in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and spend the day and then hop back on the train and go home at night. Not that we want them to do that. We obviously would like them to stay overnight, but if they're looking for a day trip, that would make it an excellent opportunity. And the nice thing is, and I've kind of looked at this from a couple different angles. If this does happen, the thing I'm hearing is because Tomah's at that kind of northeastern chunk, we would almost become a transportation destination, in the sense that people would, from the northeastern part of the state, if they want to hop on this rail, they would come to Tomah. I mean, Tomah could become almost a central hub for people to get on the train. I mean,
absolutely.
And that would obviously have a huge economic impact. People would come, they'd stay overnight in the hotels, they'd shop at the restaurants, or shop at our stores, eat at our restaurants, and that's what we look at. That's the type of economic impact that could create. So what's the next step in this process? Where are we at right now, and what's the next step?
Well, as you know, there's been a little bit of a pause put on the first segment, which is Milwaukee to Madison. With the new governor coming in, we've put a little bit of a pause on that. We're hoping that segment still goes forward, but in any case, Wisconsin Department of Transportation is working in conjunction with the Minnesota Department of Transportation to conduct a study of what is the best route between Milwaukee and the Twin Cities. They're currently considering about 10 different routes. The primary routes being the current Empire Builder route through La Crosse, or the route through that would go through Eau Claire. By the end of 2011, we should have a final route decision. In any case, what we have really been advocating for, and you've been really involved with our High-Speed Rail Coalition, is even if high-speed rail is a few years off, let's get an additional train on the existing Empire Builder route now, ahead of high speed, so that we can again have that frequency that's going to just continue to increase ridership, make it a more viable alternative transportation mode. Of
course, that would be great if they could do that. If people are more interested in getting more information, how would they contact? What's the website?
We have information on our LADCO website, which is www.ladcoweb.org.
Okay.
You can just give us a call, and we'd be happy to share information, and Chris has lots of information as well. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jenny, for meeting with us today. A lot of good information here, so if you have any questions, hop on the website. You can call the Chamber office. We're happy to help out. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to learn more about an exciting new event coming to Tomah.